Hello YouTube, this is going to be the 40 subscriber special, and I'm very grateful and thankful for what you guys have done. Now, I also want to say that when this channel hits up to 100 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway for a $15 gift card. Now, you guys are probably wondering, how do you get this gift card? First, you like the video. Second, you subscribe. And third, you guys have to guess what anime I will be doing for my 100 subscriber special. Now, if you guys have any friends who like anime or anime content, whatever in general, please ask them to come to this channel, like and subscribe. Now, let's get into the video. We start this off with Izuku getting told that he's quirkless. Izuku heart shatters. He's broken. He doesn't know what to think anymore. He starts to cry on the way home. Inko's annoyed, so she grabs a couple of beers. She thinks she can handle it, but she really couldn't. She drinks all the beers in a couple of hours as she's drunk and starts to abuse Deku. She starts to beat at him. The next day, Izuku is in bed with a lot of scars and glass inside of his skin. Izuku hears a ring on the door as he opens it, or runs downstairs and opens it. As it happens, he sees a man in a white coat with a gas mask on. Izuku's about to ask who he is until the man puts a tissue on Izuku's mouth and nose. Izuku is about to pull it off, but Izuku gets knocked unconscious. Izuku wakes up and he's in a pod. He feels like his body is in so much pain he can't even move. Izuku starts to scream in the pod, but no one could hear him. He sees a lot of men and women typing on computers, writing down things. As he feels things start to get injected in him, Izuku gets knocked back unconscious. Now, Izuku was 4 when he went to the court doctor, and 4 when he got kidnapped. Now, Izuku's 18. Izuku is in a pod still, as Izuku's about to give up on hope of escaping until he hears, "My child, what are you doing? Get out of there. You have the power and the will to get out. You just don't believe in yourself." As Izuku hears this as a wake-up call, Izuku shatters or screams out, "Let me out! Let me out!" No one could hear him, but the doctors start to realize that Izuku's heart starts to raise, and the pod starts to shake. As this happens, the monitor starts to get louder, starting to beep louder and louder and louder, until Izuku finally bursts out of the pod. Izuku immediately rips one of the doctors in half, before looking at the other doctor disappearing from the doctor's side, grabbing that doctor by the head, snapping the doctor's neck, as he starts to do many other nasty and ruthless things that you can't even think of. Izuku's about to kill this last doctor until he sees a shadow-looking thing behind him, or a shadow behind him, ready to slash him. Izuku looks at the shadow and backflips back. As he looks up to see the person has a scythe and has red hair. The person swings his scythe towards Izuku again. Izuku backflips back as the person starts to swing again and again. Izuku dodges before cutting the person's arm off. The person doesn't fudge, doesn't scream, doesn't do anything. It just looks at his arm as his arm quickly regenerates. He then runs over to Izuku, trying to slash towards him. Izuku does get hit with a little pinch of his blood, getting spilt on the side. The person smiles finally and says, "Finally, this is it. Behold, Lord Jashin." Now, this is not like here on Lord Jashin where he has to wait a whole 3 days to regenerate or something. His regenerating capabilities are much better than Hiran's, and he's not a sociopath or a psychopath. He actually has his mental health up to a 10 out of 5. It's probably going to be a 3. Not too crazy like Hiran, who's old 0. The person stabs himself in the heart and says, Behold, your sacrifice, Joshin. Now as this happened, Izuku grabs his heart, and Izuku starts to cough out blood as his heart starts to slowly but surely regenerate itself. Very slow but surely. Izuku runs over to the person, grabbing them by the neck before snapping it. The person doesn't fudge as the neck goes back in place very quickly. The person grabs Izuku's arm. Before trying to cut it off with the scythe, Izuku grabs the scythe, rips it out of the person's hand, ripping off the person's hand with it. As the person's hand immediately regenerates, Izuku grabs that person's neck who he's holding, which he throws it into one of the pods, with the pod getting broken. As the person is about to get up, Izuku runs towards that person who's holding the scythe immediately before wrapping up in iron chains. As the person tries to get out, Izuku doesn't allow it. Izuku touches the person on the head before saying a couple words. Your soul is mine. This contract is fulfilled. Yes. As Izuku says yes, you see a fiery contract appear up in the air as the contract disperses into little small flakes of fire. As the person doesn't know what's going on, but he feels his heart burning as he's about to scream, but Izuku says no. As he grabs the person's mouth and holds it, the person starts to slowly but surely, his hair starts to go gray as he opens his eyes again, and he looks at Izuku. As Izuku unchains him, Izuku says, who do you work for? As he says, you, king, my king. As Izuku nods his head, saying, I am not your king, but I am nearly your master. Your king will be waiting. Soon enough, you will see him. As Izuku starts to fight with other projects that were sent for him, and still there so too, he finally looks into this weird little pod thingy as he sees that there is this demon katana-like weapon inside of there. Izuku pulls it out as he says, this must be mine. As he feels a connection with the katana, as Izuku pulls it out, Izuku starts to walk out of the facility with his 6 teammates, or his 6 servants, as his 6 servants and him travel across the sea because they were put on a different land. Izuku and his friends finally, or his servants, finally make it towards land. Now, as this happens, Izuku starts to look around, not seeing he's not on Dagobah Beach, but instead in a forest. Izuku starts to walk as he sees the person who told him to escape with a black tail and black ears. As this person looks towards Izuku, saying, my child, you are here. As Izuku bows down on one knee, saying, yes, master, I am here. As the other servants look towards each other and bow down with Izuku, saying, our king. He says, yes, thank you. As another person with a whip in his hand, and a rose in his hand, also walks up, saying, hey, what's going on here? As the person with a black ear and tail basically looks towards this person, as he says, oh, Shadow Rose, you're here. Now, I will be taking some characters from different, basically, profiles and different channels. Now, these 2 characters are from Human Dojo. Go watch him. He's a Stickman animationer. Now, he says, yeah, so you called me here for what? As he looks towards the person, which would be Izuku, kneeling on one knee. He says, who's this kid? As this person would say, oh, Shadow Rose, you'll be taking him on the mission for your team. He's your first teammate. Izuku looks up towards Shadow Rose, saying, hello. As Izuku's about to say Shadow Rose, but Izuku looks around, basically seeing that he's in a different area now. He's in the desert, as he says, alright, kid, we don't have questions around here. let's just get to the mission. Now as Izuku starts to walk with Shadow Rose looks towards Izuku saying, "Hey kid, what's your ability?" As Izuku tells him that his ability is called Quantum Ghost. And he says, "Okay kid, what should I call you? Cause I can't just keep on calling you kid. And honestly, you're not even a kid. You're probably almost an adult. You're like 19, right?" Izuku says, "Yeah." Izuku starts to say, "You can just call me Ghost." As he says, "Alright, kid, whatever. What should I call that other person beside you?" As Izuku says, "They're not important." Now, as this happens, Izuku starts to walk before Shadow Road beating out an area or a bar in the desert, which would be, you would see two people, one with some kind of whip or chains, and another one with his fist and a little small knife. As you see them basically beating people up with these weapons, Izuku looks towards them saying, "I'll handle this, Ace." As this person, or this male person, steps up with a card. As this person flicks the card, as the card goes flying towards the person with a chain, right towards his cheek, cutting it just a little bit. This person would say, turn around and say, "Hey Ryu, I guess these guys want to fight too." As Ryu, which was my character I made up, would look towards these 7 individuals. The other 5 would look like robots, but the other 2 look like humans. Or the other 5 act like robots, but the other 2 act like humans. As Ace would immediately disappear from sight, as Ace would turn into mini cards, which would surprise Ray or Roy. As Roy would immediately feel a gut punch to his gut, as he would drop down on one knee. He would feel something press on his other knee before getting kicked in the jaw, as he would be sent flying. Now, if you guys do not know what just happened, Ace, or my character that I made up, that is Izuku Puppet, had kicked Roy inside of the gut, and Roy would fall on one knee. After that, Ace would basically backflip kick off of his knee and kick him in the jaw, sending him a little bit flying. As this would happen, Roy would use his knife and stick it into the ground, stopping him from going any further before feeling a knee to the jaw and basically getting slashed by a card. Now, as this would happen, Roy would jump back and throw 2 daggers towards this person. Ace would throw 2 cards towards these daggers, which they would deflect off the daggers. Roy would say, "Dang it, you gotta be kidding me," as Ace would twirl his card around in his finger before blowing on his card and fire coming from it. Now, as would happen, Roy would dodge the fire, as he would say, "What else could happen now?" before Ace putting out another card and dropping it to the ground. The earth would start to rumble, as Ace would say, you're going to be finished here, and you're going to join the team or you'll die." As Roy would say, "I'll never join you," but before he says that, a rock would hit his gut, as he would cough out a little bit of saliva. Ace would run up towards Roy. Roy and him would start to have a really good battle, but at the end, Ace would dissipate into cards, as the cards would start to wrap around Roy. Ace would appear right next to Deku, as Ace would say, "Master, isn't it an art piece?" Izuku would look towards Ace, as he would say, "Yeah, I guess so." As Ace would put up two of his fingers saying, "Ignite." As this would happen, a large explosion would be heard throughout the land, and Roy would drop down to the ground, burnt with 2-degree burns, and some of them in scratches and bruises and a little bit of cuts. Now, Huey, which I'm gonna say is the other person with the chains, would throw one of the chains towards Ace, but a person with a scythe would block it. As the person with a scythe would get impaled by one of this chain, the person would immediately regenerate before running towards Huey. Huey would dodge the scythe, but a little cut cheek would happen on his cheek as as the person with a scythe, or what I would call him, Zero, would basically say, "Behold your sacrifice, Lord Joshin." Now this would happen. He would pull out something from his scythe as he would stab his foot, saying, "You will join the team, or you're going to have to suffer more." As Huey would say, I'll join. And my brother, please don't kill him." Now, as happened, Izuku would nod his head, saying, "Don't kill them." And that would happen. They would get back to base, and Izuku would tell his master what would happen. Now, I'm going to be leaving it off here. If you guys have any more suggestions, leave down in the comments. If you guys have any suggestions for Bell what ifs, also leave that down in the comments, because I really do need some more Damachi what ifs. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do some Damachi what ifs. So please insert some Damachi. And it can't be anything from Seven Deadly Sins, or it could, but it has to be something related to Merlin, Gother, or it has to be related to some other anime. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Like and subscribe, and leave the comment down below. Bye!